Nubian narrator news special, when fact-checking turns into courtroom knockout. Hello, beautiful watchers of truth and drama, your Nubian narrator is here, and today we bear witness to the legal roast of the century. On one side, Douglas Murray, a commentary monk of subtly devastating precision. On the other, Mohammed Hijab, street preacher extraordinaire, who apparently came to court believing his courtroom skills were an undefeated mixtape. Spoiler alert, Murray just slapped that mixtape, court verdict style. Hijab lost so hard even his own videos did more damage to his reputation than the article he was suing over. Let's unpack that slow-motion implosion, fact by blazing fact. Here's what went down. In September 2022, The Spectator, led by Murray, published an article accusing Hijab of fanning communal flames during the Leicester unrest between Muslims and Hindus. Hijab's response? A lawsuit claiming defamation and data protection violations. Court vibes? 5th August 2025, High Court of England and Wales opens the ring. Hijab sues, Murray defends. The court checks the receipts and smashes the claim like stale bread. Let's read that judgment like it's the Booker Prize winner of humiliation. The judge said the article was substantially true. Boom. Did Hijab think the article did serious harm? The judge said no, because your own YouTube content already invited heartbreak. Hijab's own testimony, described as combative and constantly argumentative, and, hold on to your hats, his evidence was overall worthless. That's not just a loss, that's public execution by semantics. Also, the judge ruled Hijab lied on significant issues. So when he says his evidence was solid, the judge replies, "Bro, it's worthless. Time to dissect the alleged crime." The article labelled Hijab a street agitator, telling anti-Hindu rhetoric during an already volatile situation. Hijab tried to say, "I'm not attacking Hindus, just Hindutva." The judge was like, "Don't think so." The verdict? Your comments were clearly aimed at Hindus. No fine print, no nuance, no exits. So here's what happened. Hijab's own videos, yeah, your videos, mate, made you the author of your own reputation. Then you sued someone for describing your reputation. That's like building a fire, then tilting the hose at a bystander and blaming them for the burn. Let's talk courtroom performance. The judge painted Hijab as the litigant equivalent of someone trying to freestyle in a formal debate. Loud, meandering, contradictory. So when he tried to bring drama, the judge said, "Sit down, you're doing damage." And that damage? Self-inflicted. Hijab's data protection claims? Also dismissed because his details weren't just shaky, they didn't add up and were outright incorrect. Meaning his foundation crumbled, so the whole case did too. Post-verdict, Hijab promised to appeal. That's his right, and I'll give him that. But in legal terms, he's standing at the bottom of a mountain named reality, where the only supplies he has are spin and showmanship. Unless he digs out receipts, facts, clarity, and maybe a better script, this appeal is the uphill battle where even echoes don't reach. So where do we stand? Full solidarity with Murray, not because we worship his Oxford accent or broody stares, because the court said his article was substantially true, he backed it with logic, and Hijab literally demolished his own credibility. Public figures bear the burden of reputational risk. Hijab live-streamed controversy so openly, he practically added fuel to the fire himself. Then he sued someone for describing what they saw. That's hubris. That's performance art gone catastrophically wrong, and the judge recognized it. We're team facts here. And Murray, props, TBH, he showed up with receipts and let the law flex its might. Now let's talk about the character assassination by proxy, Hijab's signature move. This isn't about theology, it's about targeting anyone who steps in his shadow. 1. Baseless accusation factory. Hijab has been caught time and again throwing accusations like confetti, libel claims, ghostly conspiracies, Hindutva extremists. In the Leicester mess, he blamed extremist Hindutva for violence, despite overwhelming evidence that Muslim mobs were the main aggressors. His claims were debunked, and still he plays the victim card. 2. The Oxford bully with a religious superiority complex. Reddit users summed this up best. Here's some unfiltered truth from those who've watched Hijab go off. He's a crap philosopher. His arguments are full of ad hominem attacks, bluster, yelling, and logical fallacies. He's incredibly arrogant. He's always shouting over someone with this strange theatrical accent. Clearly intelligent, but his arrogance is vile. Mr. Hijab, a loud, coarse bully, making you stupider than you already are. Yes, Oxford educated. If you squint, that doesn't excuse acting like a rowdy street preacher with a degree. The education didn't smother the bullying. It sharpened his script confidence. Instead of debate, he deploys sermon-style intimidation. That's not discourse, that's performance. 3. Weaponizing religion to fuel ego. Religion isn't just a belief system for Hijab, it's stage makeup, a tool he wields to elevate his ego, like a preacher with a megaphone, claiming moral high ground while throwing shade at anyone who questions him. This is classic projection. You question his theology or actions, and he immediately flips you into an oppressor or racist. At a University of Toronto talk, he boasted that calling opponents racist would make them flinch faster than sound logic ever could. He literally said, "Attitude eats arguments for breakfast." That's not confidence. It's a straw man scare tactic dressed up in religious garb. 4. Hijab's hypocrisy, a trail of self-harm. Remember, Hijab's own content destroyed his court claim. He livestreams inflammatory rhetoric, basks in the clicks, then sues when someone reports the receipts. The judge nailed it. Hijab positively revelled in any form of publicity, and even printed t-shirts emblazoned Instigator-in-Chief to sell on Amazon. Imagine tweeting a meme about yourself, then suing someone for describing it. That's modern self-roast logic. Why we stand with Murray? Douglas Murray, a commentator who writes, cites evidence, lets facts speak, and lets courts judge. No theatrics, no intimidation, no t-shirts. He published, Hijab reacted. There's a world of difference between someone who writes an article and someone who mugs for the camera, weaponizes religion, then loses in court because they actually did the thing they're now upset about. Murray's article was substantiated. Hijab's reputation was already fragile. When you're earning sponsorship, tens of thousands a month off controversy, and your legal strategy evaporates under your own videos, that's self-immolation. We stand with Murray because the court validated him. Facts, not theatrics. Rational analysis, not rage. That's how you debate. Hijab's theatricals collapsed for good reason.